Welcome to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and we are back again with Jacob Hutchins and Will Garner. Thanks for coming back for part 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've been having such good conversation about relationships, so I'm like, let's keep this going.
Keep rolling.
We have more to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to dive right back in. What do you guys notice in society right now that you're not really loving when it comes to relationships or anything around there?
Lack of morals.
Okay.
People treat people like cars. And they just trade them in. They just trade them in every year and get a new one.
Yeah.
Like dating apps. I really think dating apps make you feel like you have unlimited options when you shouldn't. And if you find like the slightest thing maybe inconvenient about somebody, like, well, I'll just go get a new one. I'll just hop on Tinder.
Yeah.
I mean, and like hookup, that's like hookup culture and everything else. But yeah, people treat people like trucks and just trade them in.
Have you seen that reel where, I mean, there's probably a bunch of them at this point, but I saw like a video the other day and it was this guy and he was in like a restaurant and he saw this beautiful girl and he like walks up to her and they talk for a second and he gives her his number on a piece of paper and they end up like having a relationship. And then it like cuts to nowadays and he's like swiping on his phone and he sees the same girl and he swipes past her because he just saw a glimpse of her. But when he saw her in real life and interacting with her friends sitting in a booth at this restaurant, it was just a whole different interaction. And like his first impression of her was much different. So not only are people like misjudging or like maybe missing an opportunity by seeing someone on an app, they're like going to the app instead of meeting people in person.
Oh yeah.
And it really showed you the difference between like, I don't even know what the word would be, but it just didn't seem as like romantic, you know? Like it was so cute.
Right.
Yeah, it was so cute
like,
how he like went up and like talked to her and gave him his number and like she was like all excited leaving the restaurant and then like you just see him swiping and like matching someone and it was like nothing, you know? It's like a totally different feeling.
It's desensitizing when you get like, you know, a bunch of DMs every day or whatever. You're like, oh, well, I'll just go into my phone and see who I want to hang out with this week. Like it's just so cheap.
I will not. I don't think I'll ever get on the dating apps. Honestly,
it's cheap.
I don't know anyone who has made a long-lasting relationship
like a healthy
from
relationship.
a dating app.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know a single person.
I don't know. Well, I know one person, and they met on Plenty of Fish. Which, do you remember that app? This was forever ago.
I've never had
10 years ago, maybe. And they're married and loving life.
Really?
But yeah, that's the only time I've seen that.
That's surprising.
I know.
I would rather go up and talk to a girl in person.
Yeah.
I just feel more like, I think it's more badass.
Do you like when
girls... I would
girls...
charm her in person. I'd be very charming.
You can get to know someone better in person.
Yeah.
If you're just texting them all the time and it's just...
Pictures don't really tell a whole
5 minutes with someone, you learn so much more than text,
like,
having a pen pal for a week, you know? Because anybody can text you, but how are you in person? Like, how do you...
get to really know their personality.
Yeah.
How they interact with people.
Exactly. Do you like when girls approach you, or would you rather approach them?
Kind of depends. Sometimes I like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I definitely... Well, I mean, I've never been necessarily approached by a girl and been like, ew, gross. You know? Like, I mean, I've been like, well, that was really nice. That made me feel cool. But I feel like at the same time, like, I would... Like, if I saw a girl and wanted her to approach me, I would approach her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if she's not going to approach me, like, I would just walk up myself and be like, what's up? My name's Jacob. You ready to go on your last first date ever? 'Cause I'm about to change your life.
Oh.
I'm going to throw up.
I'm going to throw up. So you get nervous when you first talk to girls?
No.
No. Good.
I really don't.
Because it's like, what do you have to lose?
I don't get nervous until it starts getting real.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this is terrifying.
When you start really having to open up, that's
like breaking the ice is fine. We can talk about whatever, but if it starts getting like, they start getting kind of close, then I freak out. I'm like, okay, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
You got to tiptoe into those waters.
Then I'm like, all right, let's like pause. Let's back up a little bit. Let's just work on this slowly and delicately.
Yeah.
So we make good choices.
Absolutely.
Okay, Will, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think once a cheater, always a cheater?
No.
No.
I think that people can change for sure. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have to forgive in order to be forgiven. So, I mean, if someone has a past, I'm not going to judge them by their past if they don't judge me by my past.
Yeah.
And that's just you can't build a relationship off of judging what someone did 5 years ago or whatever. Because
what if they've cheated multiple times in multiple relationships?
Well, I mean, that would be a little different, but I mean, you still have to give them a chance.
Yeah. I think everyone makes mistakes, but I see what you're saying, Jacob, because like, if it's like, okay, they've done this with every relationship, they're obviously not learning. Gonna be like, you know,
well, you're just kind
it is. It
that's
is
a
little
curveball.
It's situational. I think it's
that.
situational because if someone does it in every relationship, it's like, okay, that's a problem. But if it's like one, I'm not saying it's okay, but like if it's one time and then you've seen that they've done the work and you know they've changed, I could see you being more open to that.
And unhealthy relationships make people do things they wouldn't normally do either. And I'm not saying I'm not justifying.
It's a two-way street.
It's definitely wrong. It's bad. I don't condone it. Whatever.
No.
All that, but also like I know for a fact that when I've been in like a really toxic relationship, I've been a completely different person and way more susceptible to stuff that would never have happened or occurred if I was just single and doing my thing.
It depends on the individual.
Yeah.
If we were talking about like if it was somebody who's cheated 50 times or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we're not hanging out.
No, I mean, and
no.
I guess you could kind of. I mean, you still have to, I guess, try to get to know them. And try to see, like, you know, try to get your own perspective of what happened and
if they confess to it too, like if you're getting to know somebody and she tells you straight up like, hey, this is my passion, then that's kind of a green flag, low key. Like, well, obviously if they're bringing that up, like that's something that
and if you find that out from them, like you're saying, I mean, on the front end of
like that's pretty honorable.
That's
to confess that.
It takes a lot of lady balls to say, "Hey, I effed up."
Yeah,
and I'm just going to be upfront.
If you have to find out from other people,
that's a red flag.
I'd rather hear from the person.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah,
and you will find out. I genuinely believe that, like, if there's something going on, I'm going to find out every time. It's going to come out. The bad stuff always comes to light. It may take it a long time, but you're going to find out eventually.
If it happened to you, would you cut the relationship off? Like during the relationship? Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Just because
I don't think I could do it.
And it's not even about like what you said. Yeah. I mean, you do have to have forgiveness, and I would definitely, I mean, I'm a grudge holder, so it would take me a while, but even just because you forgive somebody, like, there's no trust there. And once my trust is gone, like, it's gone forever.
It's probably easier to forgive than to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I can forgive somebody and still know that I don't ever want to be in the same room with them. Like, just know that we're not cool, really. We're not going to get along. We got some stuff between us. And I can feel that way and still not wish them ill and still want them to have a good life and all that and be like, you know what? Shit happens. We're moving on. I forgive you, but, like, you are not the type of individual that I need in my life.
I have literally, now that I think about it, I've never not forgiven someone.
Yeah.
I've forgiven everyone in my life because if I don't, then I feel like it's just causing issues for me.
Yeah.
Because if I don't forgive them, I'm hurting myself. Like, I'm holding on to that resentment, that negativity. Yeah.
It's absolutely a burden. You have a responsibility to yourself to not carry that around and know that, like, it's not your fault, you know. Mm-hmm. People do dumb shit.
I have an issue with giving too many chances.
Yeah.
Same.
I used to.
I think
I don't anymore. You get one, but I definitely used to.
I think it boils down to, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
now I'm pretty much not a big chance giver.
No.
Like, I'll give.
I'm gonna forgive you and give you another chance.
Me
9
too.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, me too.
Y'all are better than me.
But the thing is, I feel like if someone messes up and you give them another chance, like, for me anyway, I do it because I would want someone to do that to me because I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I have this little shelf I put it on, and it's just like sitting there with all the other things, and I'm just like collecting information because if like a couple of things happen in a row, eventually I'm going to be like, okay, like, I'm taking mental note here and I'm setting some boundaries, you know? Right. So it doesn't come without a cost. It definitely is a cost because I have to set some boundaries.
Just talk to him about it and communicate it, and it makes you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to work on that for sure because I used to not be very good at that, but
I mean, my dad, when, like, every time we'd get in trouble growing up or I'd get into, like, an argument with my mom or something or whatever, he would always come to me and he would say, like, communication is key every time. Everything. He would, like, drill that into my brain. He's like, anything that you ever do or that somebody ever does to you can be avoided with proper communication. And he was like, and a lot of it can be mended with proper communication after the fact, but it can always be avoided if you just
talk about it.
Which is hard to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been saying all day we're terrible at it. but it's still true. I mean,
I don't
it's
think we're
facts.
terrible at it. But we
It
could
just
do better.
depends. Yeah, I mean, you can always be better for sure.
When you think of communication, do you just think it's like sharing how you feel, or like what type of communication?
Sharing how you feel,
Yeah,
and then getting their input on how they
and
feel.
doing it right away.
Yes.
Not like holding
Don't
on to
wait.
it, not waiting 6 months.
Do
like
not wait.
like you see a problem, you address it right then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's sharing how you feel, but also, I mean, feelings are. I mean, there's still reality. Mm-hmm. There's facts. And facts are more important than feelings. And I don't like communicating with people when they're all like, I feel this way, and they're super emotional. I'm like, okay, I understand, but the reality of the world is this. This is a fact. Mm-hmm. And if we can't communicate and operate in the boundaries of fact, communication's worthless because your emotions are going to be all over the place. Mm-hmm. They're going to change every day. You're going to feel differently every day. If you can't reel it in and say, I may feel this way, but this is the truth, so this is what I'm going to use to operate, then the communication is a little less, it doesn't do as much good.
That's what I've worked on too, is not just responding right away.
Yeah, like take a breath.
And not make the decision based off emotion. Like just give it 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
We can really think about it, and you're like, well, I may have messed up,
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't answer the same way if you answer right as it happens.
Yeah.
You have to give it a minute to really like calm yourself down.
Yeah.
I think that takes maturity. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I like to go for drives.
Oh, go for drives. Yeah.
Like if I'm really pressed about something, I'm going to go for a drive before I talk about it. Really think it through.
Yeah.
And
Process
get
it
there,
a little before you just react.
Find make my position on the matter based off of the facts and not just that I'm pissed off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to relationships, like what are other ways that you feel like you can grow close with somebody? Like obviously communication is important, but doing life with them,
Spending time with
them,
them.
spending time, doing hobbies, like
Doing like real life stuff, like let's go buy groceries and cook dinner and like have I don't know. I just feel like doing somewhat, not necessarily mundane things, but things that you would normally do by yourself, do those together. Like go cook a meal, go read a book together, go for a walk or something.
I think you have to have real life experiences to even realize if it's going to
like
work.
if you even really like them.
yeah.
Dates are fun and all, I guess, but if you're going like on dates, I feel like because it's a date and you're sitting there having dinner, like a formal date or whatever, everybody's trying to put their best foot forward, which is there's nothing wrong with that, but I think you don't get really close to people like in friendships. We've gotten close doing stuff and like going through situations, difficult situations. The closest friendships I have are with guys that I've gone through really bad things with.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to grow close to somebody just going and eating and watching a movie and whatever.
There's no depth.
That's that's so baseline. Eventually you got to get out and get after it.
And anybody can like take you on a date and do like, I always say it's like Disney World where you make it like this big elaborate
Wine
thing. It's
and
like cool, that's
dine,
fine, but that's not life.
No.
Like everyday life is just hanging out, watching TV, like making
Go to
dinner
the
together,
gym.
go to the gym, like go to church, do
Church is big.
that kind of stuff. Yeah. Do you think it's important to have your partner go to church with you? Or at least
if she's not going to go to church with me, we're not dating. Every time.
We have some non-negotiables here, I see.
And I'm not saying like I struggle with my faith all the time, and I miss church all the time, especially during hunting season. Spend a lot of Sundays in the woods, and that's my church. But when I'm regularly going and everything, like I would definitely appreciate the effort to go together. Or I'll drive to your church, man. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I think that if one person's growing in their faith, the other person has to be too, or that person that is growing is going to outgrow you. And you're going to get left in the dust. Speaking from experience.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like that was a big red flag for me, is like church can be a remarkable tool. And if one person is trying to use that tool to better themselves and better the relationship, and the other person is not super interested in that, that's a huge red flag to me.
And spiritually too, it'll teach you how to handle those tough situations that happen along the way.
Every time. If you bust open the Bible and use that as your measuring stick.
That's
for,
your sword.
Yeah, for handling problems in a relationship, I think you're gonna have a lot more success than if you just sit there and talk about it and try to like navigate it on your own. You're gonna come up short.
I'm no saint by any means.
No,
but
I'm not either.
I definitely think using scripture is very important to teach you how to, like I said, handle those situations and move forward and be better.
It's almost like a compass, you know, it like guides you and kind of reins you back in when you're going astray.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm ever in another like committed relationship or anything, like we're gonna do Bible study together.
Yeah.
Like I really want to do that. That's like super hard to do because then you really gotta communicate and open up about a lot of stuff, and it's not something that I would just do with anybody. Like it would have like this would be a very serious, committed relationship, obviously. But that's one of the things that I would like to do, for sure.
Okay, so is there anything that you feel that women seem to like not know when it comes to relationships? Like, I know we've talked on a lot about this, but like maybe things that men like love or need or like don't need that we haven't really covered. That you're just like,
there definitely are. I'm drawing a blank, but I'll find one.
I think no one gets tired of being told they're loved.
So like words of
lack of better word. I mean, you know,
like words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. Okay.
I would probably cry.
Why?
Like happiness.
Well, like I mean, if think about the level of like respect that you know that a girl would have for you if she came to you. Like just say like, imagine you're in a relationship and you've had a terrible day, and you just feel like you're getting your ass kicked by everything, but she comes to you and she says, "I just want you to know, like I'm proud of you."
Yeah.
Like that would be
the best feeling.
We're going to the courthouse. We're going to the jewelry store in the courthouse. Like, and to genuinely mean it. But if you have to say that, if you have to have the conversation beforehand and like explain that that's something that you want, then it's not cool. Like then if you tell me, I'd be like, she's lying. Like she's pulling my leg or something like that. It needs to be unspoken. Mm-hmm. Like if it's staged at all, or you have to talk about it, I just wish you'd be more supportive or encouraging or whatever, like it's not going to mean the same.
No.
Not to me, but.
So words of affirmation are big.
Yeah.
Making dinner.
Dinner's fire.
Probably some back rubs.
Oh my God. If you scratch my back, that just makes me like.
I feel like that's kryptonite.
That's it. I'm a sucker for that.
And
Scratch
women want their feet rubbed, so take notes.
I got two good thumbs. I can rub the hell out of some feet.
Thumbs?
You getting there?
Yeah, you gotta use your thumbs.
Yeah. You gotta get like in the ball, like the ball of the foot like that.
Yeah.
I'm not rubbing anybody's feet.
I will, but not for nothing.
I mean, I might.
I want my back scratched afterwards.
I'll rub my wife's feet.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My wife will get foot rubs all the time.
Yeah. As long as she cooks me a nice meal.
Yeah.
It's a give and take. It's a trade.
She doesn't have to every day.
Yeah.
No, like a weekend thing. Like a Saturday dinner.
Like 4 times a week.
Yeah.
I feel like 4 is fair.
So the majority of the week.
I mean,
but I feel like that's like you could do Monday through Thursday, Friday could do takeout, and then the weekends just kind of.
Well, I like to cook too. I don't have a problem cooking.
Yeah,
but
true.
I don't like to clean up. So
I'll do the
So you
dishes.
cook- okay.
I will do the dishes every time
Really?
if she cooks a meal.
I'd rather cook than do the dishes.
I think I'd rather do the dishes than cook.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'd rather
I'll
clean
clean
up.
up everything if she cooks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would definitely prefer to cook and then just leave it and have somebody else do it. I hate doing dishes and I hate doing laundry.
I mean, I don't love it, but I would just rather her cook and
I respect that.
I don't think
Clean
I
it
could
up.
do laundry either. Am I a woman? I don't know. I like doing dishes, but I mean I don't hate cooking. I'm just like I cook so boring.
Meal prepping is boring.
Yeah.
Meal prep cooking
And
is
I
different
eat so
than
boring.
fun cooking.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I don't like to meal prep either. That's why I pay to have that done. But cooking a fun dinner is a little different. I'd be doing.
I eat out way too much. That's why I would just look forward to having a meal.
Yeah, like a
on the table
home-cooked
as
meal
a-
at the table.
Like,
Well,
there's nothing I love more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming home and
I
just
agree
smelling
too.
that warm cooked
It's like what we said
casserole
earlier.
or whatever.
Trying to find a girl like your mom.
Exactly.
Spend our whole lives coming home and mom had something actually really good on the
Yeah.
table.
True.
I mean, my mother
Man.
and grandmother are probably two of the best cooks. I
Absolutely.
mean, they can cook anything. And it's
You're
always
so
amazing.
right. I need to step
It's
up my
them,
cooking.
it's them Southern ladies, man.
I mean, Thanksgiving dinner in the South is like
to die for.
best day of the year.
Yeah.
This is my favorite holiday.
I mean, besides Christmas.
What was that
We love
thing you told me
I
about?
like
That
Thanksgiving more
squash
than Christmas.
something?
Squash
Squash
casserole.
casserole?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, it's
I've never
amazing.
had that.
Oh, it's
freaking
amazing.
It sounds
gas.
amazing.
It'll change your life.
Absolutely.
It'll change your life every time.
So when you meet a woman, do you think you can like know right away if you're gonna be if they're like your forever?
Yes.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're romantic. He's not. So
I can
much.
know quick.
I mean,
know
I
quickly.
am,
Yeah.
but I don't trust myself. Like I've thought I've felt that before, so now
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I would like to. I would think it would be awesome if you met someone and were like immediately just like, that's her, that's the one. But after, if you felt that before and then it didn't end very well, you start to kind of second guess your intuition a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe maybe I just haven't met that one.
I'm
I
very
don't know.
gut feeling ridden,
Yeah.
and like, I feel like more times than not, it's usually right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I also had a pastor one time tell me that like soulmates don't exist.
Really?
And that screwed with my head. I mean, that was a pastor.
Yeah.
And he
for
said,
who?
What did he say about it?
he
See a
said,
Methodist?
well, he said the way that, and I mean, I was in biblical counseling at the time. So this was like a serious, like he wasn't playing around. And he said that he did not believe biblically that soulmates existed. He said that you have, at best, maybe you have a soulmate depending on what stage of life that you're in. But his point was, say that you're married and your spouse dies. Are you, like, biblically, he believed that you're called to get remarried. And so, therefore, then it would be impossible to have, like, one soulmate.
Be called to get remarried.
I mean, down the road, obviously, after the healing process and everything, but his point was that marriage is a reflection of God's love for humankind, and men are not meant to be alone, and women are not meant to be alone. So, if your spouse were to die, if you could somehow work through that eventually, and then down the road, getting remarried would be, I mean, if you could feel that way, it'd be the appropriate thing to do. Therefore, soulmates are not real.
What if you could have like
I mean, I
multiple
respectfully
soulmates?
disagree, but
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know
I'll
if
be
I
honest.
agree either. I feel like you
I
could
don't
have
know.
multiple soulmates. I feel like you could have friends that are like
But
friends
if you
that are
have,
soulmates.
but if you have multiple soulmates and they're not,
they're not a soulmate.
Yeah,
then?
that would-
like a
that would-
soulmate is supposed to be a singular
I
thing.
would think that a soulmate is like that one perfectly crafted individual where y'all are just like, and if you have multiple of those, then
Yeah.
what's the point?
I'm torn. I feel like there's like a movement right now that people can have multiple.
I don't think there's a
I-
perfect
I
match
genuinely do
because,
not know.
like, a lot of old timers, they'll tell you that love grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I know
Yeah.
5 years ago, the type of person that I was drawn to is definitely different than the one I'm drawn to now. So maybe you do have different. I mean, I don't know. It's,
No, I think it's just something good to reflect on too, because it's like I'm
it's
not
a
sure.
mind bender. It's a mind bender for sure.
I'm kind of torn because I myself like go a lot off gut and like how I feel, but then I'm sort of like you too, Jacob, where it's like I don't know if I could just meet somebody and be like, that's my person.
I don't have the trust for that.
I don't know if I do either. I would have to
we'd
like
have to-
it'd have to be like a methodical progression at this
I'm
point.
too analytical.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not
don't know.
right off the bat, but, I mean, I know pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's just
Very
different for
intuitive.
everyone, you know. Well, any final words you have for the ladies out there?
I don't think so.
It is what it is.
I feel like this has been such a good conversation.
That's what it
though.
is. It is what
I do
it
have a
is.
funny church joke, but I'll wait until the podcast is over for that one.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why can't you
I
show it
kinda
now?
want to hear it.
Yeah, I gotta hear it.
What's the difference in a Methodist and a Baptist?
A Methodist and a Baptist.
You're about to get canceled.
What is it?
I don't know.
A Methodist will speak to you in the liquor store.
Dang.
What?
I have actually heard that one before.
On that note. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for opening up and talking
Yeah,
about
for
relationships.
sure.
This has been
Yeah.
really good. So,
We enjoyed it. I had
till
a
next
blast.
time. Visit us at AN Skin Beauty to shop all of our medical grade skincare products.